I appreciate you even accepting the invitation in the first place.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, because I mean, I know it seemed a little aggressive how I kind of came across.
It's okay.
I like to call myself passionate.
No, I am too, very much.
Yeah,
When you care about something, you should be passionate about it. So.
100%. Yeah, and it seems like there's a mixed review online, and so I appreciate the way that we were able to kind of like merge it from where it was to be able to come and sit down here today.
Absolutely. One of the things that we have always taught, I had 3 daughters, and one of the things that we've always taught our daughters is it's okay to question.
Absolutely.
Just be respectful in how you do it.
Absolutely.
And I think that backfired on us sometimes with our kids because they would question other adults.
Sure.
And other adults don't necessarily view it the same way.
Right. It's like a generational thing as well.
It is, very much.
Yeah.
Very much. So.
Right. So yeah, I don't have like too many questions. I think like when we were texting and stuff, I told you kind of like the general areas that I wanted to like talk about some stuff.
Okay. Well, before we do, let me just preface by saying, because I don't know how much you know about like the different city governances, but we are what's considered a strong council city manager form of government, which means the executive portion of the city, all of the ordinances, the enforcement, and all of that comes from council.
Okay.
And the day-to-day operations are overseen by the city manager.
Okay.
So I don't have a vote in what council does.
Okay.
I'm basically like a rudder, you might say. Sure. So I get to have the fun of helping to steer the vision of the city without getting fussed at for a vote. But I was on council for 7 years before I came into this office in January. But I think sometimes people think, like in a big city like Macon Bibb or Warner Robins, those mayors are full time. Those mayors actually can make decisions and carry those out without necessarily having the full backing of council for some things.
Okay.
I can't on my own say, we're going to paint the town purple. I mean, I can't do that.
Yeah.
I would have to get a vote from council to agree to that.
Okay. Right.
I do get to, I'll break ties. I serve as a spokesperson for the city. Which is one of the reasons I really wanted this job, because I love Cochran. I'm passionate about Cochran.
Yes.
I want people to view Cochran in a positive light in spite of all of our bumps and bruises and scratches. And, everybody's got some ugly, but there's beauty in everything.
Everything, yeah.
And so that was one of the primary reasons I wanted it, because I grew up here. And I really feel like I can help people see the really good stuff about Cochran. Yeah. So the mayor attends like all of the important meetings and brings that information back to council.
Okay.
So so I'm like an intermediary between the community and like council. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So like you could say like, hey, I sat down today with Sean.
Right. And I will
present these things, yada yada.
Absolutely.
That's
and it also gives me an opportunity to learn more. Like as a council member, I didn't really understand a lot of the inner workings. And now I understand more. But again, I don't supervise the department heads.
Okay.
So the city manager does that. So there may be some things that we talk about, and I may have to look at you and say, I'll get the answer back to you, because I don't readily know. But whatever you ask, I'll be glad to find the answer for if I don't have it.
Okay. And that's what we like, just like, like I said, just being open to do it. And that's awesome.
Absolutely.
So again, I just have 3 categories, and I mean, if it branches out, it branches out.
Okay.
I did look over the water report
Okay.
that you had sent me, and I think it was from 2023, 24.
Yeah, it runs like a year. Like the one for last year should be coming out.
So. Okay, and I think you said that was in January or July.
Usually in July.
Okay. So like I obviously never looked at a water report. Okay. But like here, obviously it says like the fluoride and stuff. Now is this the max that it's allowing?
So hold on.
Because it says like range of levels detected.
Okay. So let me see if I can help explain this.
Sure.
So that would be the highest level that was detected. This is, of course, the whole range.
Okay.
So that would be what appears to be the only level, because if there was one lower than that,
it would be that.
It would be that.
Okay.
And that's the maximum contaminant level that's allowed by
Okay.
EPA.
Okay.
So you see,
not
we're
even
nowhere
close.
near,
Okay.
nowhere near the 4.0
Okay.
parts per million, and so that's why it says no, there's not a violation.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what is this? Is this just different categories?
Yeah, that's just the different categories for the columns that are going to follow.
Perfect. Perfect. And so overall, this seemed like it was a decent water report.
And we do what you asked. I never got back to you, and I realized this sometime last night. We do submit on a daily basis. We track like the pH, the chlorine, and the fluoride.
Okay.
And that gets sent to EPD at the end of the month. So it's like that report. I think that maybe it wasn't you, but there is a report that we send to EPD at the end of every month that has all 30 days or 31 days, whatever, for each of the 4 wells and what the levels were every day.
Oh, okay.
And we also, for us, it's tracked. It's not just manually tracked. We actually have, it's tracked digitally. So something that is attached to the well that reads it for us.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's really nice. Okay. So I did see that Cochran has like the 4 wells, and they're all groundwater. It says, can you walk me through how each of the 4 groundwater wells are currently treated before water reaches the homes?
No, I cannot.
I cannot. But you have somebody that could.
Yes, and
okay.
I can put you in touch with the guy that is over our water treatment. We have somebody that we contract with that works with our public works supervisor to make sure that all of those things are done.
Okay.
And I would be more than glad to get you his information.
That'd be great.
After I leave here.
No problem.
Let me get my notes.
Yeah.
Because I have just enough knowledge to get it wrong.
Sure.
And have a little bit of truth in it, but it wouldn't be intentional. So I'd rather you talk to him.
Right.
So sorry.
No, you're
I could have looked that up for you before I got here, but I didn't know. So
that's all good.
Okay, so how the water is treated before it reaches the home.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Just with like the Facebook reviews and things like that, we've seen brown water.
Yep.
And
I get it. And
checking that out.
Unfortunately, I mean, this is no excuse for us at all.
Right.
But unfortunately, I follow because I just retired from public health, and so I had 13 counties, and I would monitor the social media in all of those counties because I needed to know things that were going on.
Right.
And you still see, and it's almost, you could remove City of Cochran from the post.
Yeah.
And you could plug those posts in almost any of the older cities around us that are smaller and rural and don't have the economic base that we do.
Sure.
And that's why we have started doing a lot more planning for how we're going to replace the older infrastructure in
That's
town.
Like one of my next questions, actually, because it just says, has the city evaluated upgrading filtration at the well or system level rather than relying on main home filtration?
So I think filtration at the well is what's required, and we stay on top of that. Okay. What happens once it leaves the well?
The infrastructure.
Yeah, we have to deal with some of that infrastructure, and that's what we're planning on. Because unfortunately, when you've got pipes that are 100 years old, or maybe a smaller diameter, so it pushes things harder through the pipes. But we have started, what we hope to do soon is to do some pressure testing, especially in the area where we seem to have the most problems with the brown water, because we want to make sure that there's no infiltration of groundwater, which we don't think there is at all, but there shouldn't be, because the water's under pressure. So if anything, it's going out. Nothing should be coming in unless there's a loss of pressure in the system. So we're going to get a pressure test done, see if there's any issues there, and then start gradually replacing the pipes as we can.
I was going to say, when I was reading over the report, it acknowledged the whole infrastructure thing with the lead, and even though it doesn't say lead in the report, it doesn't necessarily mean there's not lead in the pipes. So is there like a possibility of a grant to be able to, replace the pipes? Can you do that type of thing?
You can. As long as we keep everything properly treated, there's not a concern for that. And then gradually, as we replace things, then the concern would be even less. One of the things that I did in my former life is, I think I mentioned to you that I worked with chemical hazards, and I was a chemical hazards risk assessor, and I tested homes for lead, which also included lead in water. And there was not one home that I tested for lead that was on a public water system that I was ever able to detect lead from the public water system. But we would do 2 draws. This is probably way more than you wanted to know.
No, this is great.
But when I would test a home for lead, or I would test the plumbing for lead, we'd do 2 draws. I would be there like first thing in the morning, or if it was someone I knew that we could seriously trust, I would leave the bottle with them, and they do a first draw before anybody in the house turned on any plumbing. And it was a first draw, which is supposed to tell you about the plumbing in the home. And then let the water run for several minutes, and then do another draw, which will tell you about the source water that's coming from the city. Never detected any lead from any of the cities that I worked in. But we would pick up from lead in the home. And there were times where we would detect lead with wells, with private water wells. So, and at people's individual homes. So that's, and some of that wording in that report's just like blanket that they put in. But if you live in an older home, you should always let the water run before you use it for drinking or cooking or anything like that, because you don't know unless you've tested your water.
Yes, and I'm a living caregiver for my mom. And we are over at the Havenwood Daisy senior living area. And so sometimes in there, we'll have to run the water a little bit longer for like the smell sometimes.
You mentioned like that to me.
And I have a sulfa allergy. So like sometimes the water gets to me a little bit, but that's just maybe a me thing.
And that, I need to look into that, because I've not heard that before. But I do need to look into that.
Yes. And I'm doing, like, I don't want to make this whole thing a personal thing, but I also feel like if you can make things relatable, then that also helps the situation. Do you know what are the biggest barriers, other than cost and infrastructure or regulation, to improving the filtration? What would you say? Yeah, definitely cost. And everything's going up, right? So like with the water going up, then your housing costs goes up. And everything else.
Well, and what some folks don't understand, like when we did the city park, a lot of folks were like, why didn't you use that money for something else? Well, when you apply for a grant, that money is specific to whatever that purpose is. And so it's not like we could use it for anything else. And plus, when the land was donated to us, it was specifically for a city park. And so our hands are kind of tied in that way. And so, so we applied for grant money to put stuff out there because we had the land, So it's not like we were taking money we could have used for infrastructure.
Right,
If
right,
that
right.
makes sense.
It does make sense, absolutely. Um, well, I think we've already kind of answered it, but I'll ask it because it's here. So it says, with rising water costs, has there been any discussion about balancing rates with a long-term infrastructure investment?
Um, so for clarification,
Sure.
so is that talking about raising rates to help pay for infrastructure? What is that question?
So, like, water costs are going up, and like again, at Havenwood, they don't pay for water over there; it's paid for. But then sometimes if the water goes up, the rent will go up.
Right.
And so I guess there's just, like, is there a discussion because these things are going up that would balance it out with that going up higher, with what needs to be done for better infrastructure?
Okay, I see what you're saying. Typically, the only time that we would raise a rate is if something's happening on the back end that is making it cost more for us to provide that service.
Okay.
And there are points in time where we do take out loans or bonds to better the infrastructure. And we do have to pay those back, but those typically will be paid back from any of the fees that are paid, because
Okay.
we do. I mean, of course, with anything, I mean, you don't go to a store and pay for an item exactly what they paid for it. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So, of course, there is
A little jump.
something built in there, of course.
Absolutely.
And that money is taken and set aside for. Sometimes we absorb increases and we don't pass them along to the public, which is not something everybody knows.
Yeah.
But we also use that money to pay back bonds that we have acquired to improve infrastructure. So, if all that makes sense.
It does.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep, I gotcha. So I didn't mention this in the beginning, but each category I have, the community outlook and some questions, and then like a final thought of that section that I want from you. So this says, it says, if you had to sum up for the residents, what would you want people to understand about water safety today and long-term system improvements?
Water safety. I'm sorry. I'm expecting a phone call. I'm probably going to have to take. I just want to make sure I can hear it.
No problem.
Water safety today in relation to what?
In relation to water safety today and long-term system improvements. Like, to kind of ease the residents' minds.
Yeah. Well, we had a retreat in January, I think, or early February. It's early February. And one of the things that we set as a priority for us that we honestly haven't done very well in the past is planning for this long-term infrastructure repair, improvement, replacement.
Right.
And so we are working with our engineer, which is Falcon Engineering, and coming up with a plan for how we're going to do it, which is why the pressure test for the water system is important.
Right.
Is because it will identify any weaknesses in the system, and so we know to start there first.
Okay.
So we want to be able to start in the areas that need it the most and then move out. So, like, in my mind, it would seem most likely that we would start here in town with the oldest plumbing, but that may not be where we find out the most issues are as far as the need for replacement.
Right.
And so, yeah, so we're working with them not only for the water system, but for the sewer system as well.
That's great.
And so most recently with the sewer system, we did what's called slip lining the existing pipes. So they go in, it's like coating the inside of the pipes, and it helps seal the pipes so that when we get heavy rains like we got this weekend, we don't get an infiltration of groundwater, because what we were doing years ago is basically treating groundwater that was coming in through the pipes. And so several years back, about 5 years back, we slip lined a large majority of the system. And so that reduced the amount of infiltration that was going to the treatment plant. So now we're not treating groundwater,
Nice. Yeah, yeah.
So stuff like that. We do a little at the time.
Right. That's great. Thank you for answering that. That's it for the water.
Okay.
The next category is, and I just want to know how you feel about it. LGBTQ inclusion in Cochrane and in the workplace.
Okay.
So, I just have here as community context, some LGBTQ residents and youth report feeling underrepresented and unsupported in smaller communities.
Okay.
Inclusion in workplaces and schools can reduce isolation and improve well-being. And community standards of respect help ensure safer environments for all residents.
I 100% agree with that.
Yes. So how would you describe the current approach to inclusivity for LGBTQ plus residents and employees in Cochrane?
Well, see, to me, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's something that, in my opinion, begins at home. Because I don't think you can teach it, but I think it has to be a way that you're brought up.
Right.
And you have to be, in my opinion, you have to be brought up to respect everyone equally, to love everyone equally. I mean, I don't know how you feel about Christianity, but the way I was raised is that regardless of how much money this person has or anything related to the person, if they drive a nicer, drive a nicer car than me, or if they have committed some violent crime that I know I would never do, God loves them equally.
Absolutely.
I mean, he loves 100%. Me the same way he loves them.
Absolutely.
And I don't think that's necessarily taught. And so I wasn't raised to believe that you treat someone differently based on anything, based on what they believe, based on who they love, based on
any of that.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Absolutely.
So I believe it starts at home, and you can try to teach it in the schools all you want. You can try to enforce it in the workplace, but it's, in my opinion, it's deeper than that.
Right.
With that said, I feel like in the workplace and in the schools, everyone should be treated equal. And if they're not, that needs to be addressed from from the employer's perspective. So the employer should be dealing with that.
Sure.
The person that's in charge or whatever. And if they're not, that's, depending on what the environment is, how that would have to be dealt with. Like if we had a department head that was being discriminated against someone for any reason, for, sexuality, race, anything like that, and we found out about it, city council would have to deal with that.
Absolutely.
If the city manager did not.
Right.
And in a school system, I would think the same thing, that the Board of Education would have to deal with that if the superintendent wasn't addressing it with their principals.
Yes. I can tell you as well, this is my second time that I've lived in Cochrane. The first time I lived here was 2 decades ago. And I have seen a little progress, and then I have seen not as much.
Right.
When I went to high school here, I actually was kicked out of high school here.
Okay.
Because of
nice.
Yeah, they kicked me out. Nothing that I did wrong.
Right.
But the counselor at the time told me that I was failing on purpose to stay with my partner at the time. And when you're a teenager, how do you handle that? You know what I mean? And it's like, I didn't have those resources.
Right.
And then I feel like as well now, I feel like some people don't have that.
Right.
Still. And so that brings me to the next question. Are there any formal policies or training programs for inclusion or discrimination prevention?
in city government.
Like, yeah, in Cochran, or like that, anything that you would be able to bring up and say, hey.
I don't know about with like individual employers or like with the school system.
Sure.
And I actually don't know about the training, again, because I just got in this position in January. I don't know about
Right.
training that city employees receive.
Right.
I know that they go to tons and tons of training, but I don't know specific trainings that they do.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
That's okay. And
I
I'm
know
not
they have
holding.
job specific trainings, but like coming from the state, of course, we had all kinds of
Inclusion
trains.
trainings.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
right.
we had all kinds,
Yes.
cultural trainings, and
Right. And I'm from Pennsylvania, and up there's like zero, no tolerance type of thing in the workplace for
Mhm.
that kind of stuff. And so I guess that's the type of thing that I was asking.
Oh,
Like if there's like, and again, you had said earlier, it kind of starts in the home, and you
right.
can't really like enforce it.
Well, I mean, you can enforce it, but I don't think you can change the opinion
of everybody.
Right.
Right. And
I mean, yeah, you can enforce it for sure, but I'm saying from a heart, how somebody treats somebody else,
right,
it starts at home. But
right.
yes, once they're in the workplace or once they're in the school, that needs to be
equal,
enforced. But I don't think you can change it through enforcement. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I don't know if that differentiation makes sense.
I think it makes sense. I think I was just asking in a way that, trying to think how I want to word this.
Okay.
In a way where people still feel welcome, because I know you can't change everybody's opinion, right? But like I said, with like where I used to live, in the workplace, it's just like everybody, you're just here to work. It doesn't make a difference whether you are this.
Right, and
as
that's
long
the way it
as
should
you're
be.
a good employee,
right.
This is it. It
right.
doesn't have any effect on your
your
work ethic. So that's where I was going with that.
Yeah, and I mean, as far as the time that I've been with the city, I would think that that's how we are with the city. But again, if there is a supervisor in the city that is not adhering to that, because we would not tolerate any type of, I mean, based on anything, culture, race.
Right. I don't know. I have some things that maybe we can talk about.
Okay.
Later. For an instance that's happened to me since I've been back here. So maybe we'll talk about that then.
Yeah, absolutely.
But has Cochran had any feedback or discussion about improving inclusivity in public spaces or workplaces?
We have not. Not as a city. We have not. I think if something were brought to our attention, then that could be addressed at that time.
Okay. Yeah. All right. That would be good.
Yeah.
The incident that I'm speaking of was a year ago now.
Okay.
But again, we'll talk about it.
Well, I mean, if it happened once, it could happen again.
And that's right. And I don't want that.
Right.
Just because I know how I felt.
Right.
And I don't want anybody else to feel like that.
100%. I don't know if you. This is a huge thing for me.
Oh yes.
And that this is mental health. Is affected by so many different things.
Absolutely.
And a basis for most of it is just feeling safe, understood. And so, yeah, if there's something that we need to address, I would like to know that.
I would love to do that. So the final thought we have for this section is, if you had one message to the whole community, LGBTQ or not, who even people who do not understand, what would you want them to know about respect and expectations in conflict?
That we are all part of the same community. We, gosh, I mean, I hate, it's so cliche, but again, be kind.
Be kind. It's so cliche, but so easy, right?
I know. I mean, it sounds so cliche, but I mean, and I don't really care for the do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I mean, I'm just like, treat people with respect, treat people as the the God created creature that they are.
Yeah.
With the understanding that they are equal to you regardless of how you feel,
right,
and treat them the way that God would treat them.
right. Yes,
That's
I love that.
I always try to look at somebody and think, but how would God treat them in this situation?
Yeah.
And it may not be how I want to treat them.
Right, absolutely.
I may want to just like go off the rails.
Absolutely.
But I know that God would not do that. Right. And I don't take that lightly. And that would be, but for somebody that doesn't have that same belief, then what do you say?
Right, right.
And I don't know, except to do no harm.
Do no harm. Right. Yep. And I like to say, in echoing of yours, I like to say that we're all souls having a human experience.
Yep.
We're all mirrors of one another. And I think that it's a beautiful thing that not everybody is the same. And
absolutely.
This town is very beautiful. I really do. And some people are like, why would you go back to Cochran? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's because sometimes when I'm here, I just feel like I'm on vacation.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Yeah.
But then I'm also I live here too.
Yeah.
And people deserve to feel welcome in the places that they are,
right,
living in and existing in. So that was great. Thank you for your openness for that section. The last one I have is for elderly housing concerns.
Okay. Yeah, I'm interested in this because I need to know why we're talking about. Hey, y'all.
Yeah.
How are you?
Yeah. So this just says many elderly residents live on fixed incomes such as Social Security or SSDI. Rising utility costs can increase overall housing pressures for seniors, and long-term housing stability is a concern in many small communities.
Yes.
Are there any current initiatives in Cochran focused on affordable housing for seniors?
Okay, so you are living in one,
right?
That was something that was important for us to get in place, along with the Havenwood
across the street.
Across the street.
Family one.
We currently do not have anything else ongoing for seniors. We have focused for a lot of years on housing, whether that be housing rehabilitation for lower income, or whether that be affordable housing for low to moderate income, or whether that be the DAISY senior living. So currently, we were wanting to turn our focus to some infrastructure issues.
Okay.
Because unfortunately, when you're in a small town and you don't have an industry, you don't have a large tax base. And so you have to kind of pick projects.
Right.
But senior housing, workforce housing is something that we discuss.
Okay.
But there's nothing that's currently being looked at this very moment.
Gotcha. But that's something that we could explore further.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah.
And now, are these all type of things that we could address? I know we talked about it before about a town hall meeting for when other people could come and also express some stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just to go off of this first question, when we first moved down here 2 years ago, one of the selling points for us was that they did not ever see a rent increase at this place, but we've seen it twice already.
Oh, that's interesting, because it's not that old for them to say that there was a rent increase. Right. I hadn't been there that long.
Right, and that's what I was like, okay, nice. But every year now, we've had one, and it seems like it's right around the time of when their cost of living goes up, senior citizens with their disability checks and everything. When that goes up, the rent goes up, you know, and so it's they don't even get their cost of living increase because it gets taken away from them. And so it's again, where do you balance that, and how, what can be done?
Right.
You know, how does the city view the impact of rising utilities on seniors living on fixed incomes?
I can tell you that the city as a whole, and when I say the city, I'm thinking city council.
Okay.
And I don't know otherwise. We have not had any discussions related to that.
Okay.
Other than we would like to find a way to, we've talked about like maybe reducing property tax for elderly.
Okay.
That doesn't affect anybody that's renting,
Right.
but if they own their home, we've discussed that. And we have also talked about how we need to find a way to lower the burden on the elderly and finding resources to do that. I know that some communities will not get rid of the school tax, but may lower school tax, may lower property tax. But as a whole, those discussions have not been explored that I'm aware of.
Gotcha.
I'm sure if you go into the assisted home community, because we have like a few assisted care facilities.
I worked that one for a little bit.
They probably have some of those discussions, but we have not, as a city council, had like a study just on that.
Okay.
But that is probably much needed.
Sure.
You know?
Absolutely.
With homestead exemption, we did talk about elderly. We talked about disabled and the burden that is on them. There's a balance there somewhere, you know, and we need to find that.
Right. Absolutely. It's super important. Are there programs that help stabilize housing costs for seniors, or have those options been explored? I guess we just kind of answered that.
Yeah. Now I will say that if you own, whether you rent or whether you own your own home, there are programs through the Area Agency on Aging to help with power bills, to help with, I'm trying to think, it's to help with power bills. There is some rental assistance through the Department of Community Affairs, but people have to apply for that individually.
Right.
But there is that assistance. And, but there's nothing through the city for like utility bills. But Area Agency on Aging will help pay power bills, will help get you in contact with DCA for rental assistance. And I'm leaving something out. And I'm saying this because of a family member I know that gets assistance. There's something else that I can't think of it. But it's not provided by the city. It's other agencies that provide the assistance.
Okay. Well, if you think of it, just let me know.
I can get you some.
Sure.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
I can do that.
What would you say is the biggest pressure point for elderly residents right now? Would it be housing, utilities, or other factors?
I would think, not being part of that community, I would think the rising cost of utilities and taxes.
Right.
I would think most, no, I can't say that. I would think a large number of elderly probably are aging in homes that they have lived in for a long time and may have already paid off. So I don't know if that is an issue. I don't know how many people that would be an issue for, but in that situation, of course, you don't have the housing cost. You just have, you have taxes.
Right, yeah.
Which continue to go up.
They do, yeah. I have a relative that has that, and she's like, wow.
Yeah, right. I have.
Yeah, I'm sure you get it.
And if you're renting, I would still say medical costs and utilities for sure. And I don't know what you do about that, you know? If we as a city or a county could attract a larger industry or several smaller industries, it would certainly help the governing authorities be able to make decisions like lowering taxes for a certain group, or eliminating, in some case, taxes for a certain group. But we also have to provide essential services, and right now that's not an option. Sure. There are things that we are doing as a city to help make our money go further.
Right.
But sometimes you have to spend money to make money, right? And that's the same with a city.
Absolutely.
And so we do know that we need to replace water meters and gas meters, because we're losing money at the meter in some cases.
Right.
And so we're looking at replacing those. That's going to be a cost, but in return, it's going to be a savings.
Absolutely.
And so if we continue to try to find ways to save the city money like that, in lieu of being able to attract industries,
right?
I mean, hopefully one day we'll get a good industry in that'll help increase our tax base.
Sure. I mean, again, from Pennsylvania, one of their biggest money makers right now, and I feel like I can segue into this because I just saw Governor Kemp kind of like tiptoeing around it. Medical marijuana is very big. Pennsylvania brought in $1 billion of it last year. Where do you stand with that? And do you think that's something that would be profitable in Cochran?
Well, I don't know about Cochran. I don't know that.
Yeah.
I don't know that would happen in Cochran.
Right, because it's pretty. That's a pretty big thing for a small town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do feel like they're so crazy.
They're having fun over there.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Well, the one that told you that I'm fun or whatever, she's one of my daughter's best friends, and
yes,
she's crazy, and I love her. But I'll call him back. But I do feel like there's a need for medical marijuana. I do feel like that there, I mean, gosh, it's got all kinds of positive uses.
Yes.
So it's not I would be against it in any way, but the issue that I have a lot of times, and I think you and I kind of experienced this in our dialogue, is education.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes people have an opinion. I know this has happened to me many times. People will have an opinion about something because of what someone they trust has told them, and they don't look into it themselves. And so they form an opinion not based on anything that they've researched, but based on something they've read. Right. And their source may not be very good. And so just like with the whole medical marijuana thing, they hear marijuana, it's like, ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and they don't
it's
hear,
like,
well, this,
drugs.
It makes this person do this.
Right, exactly. Yeah. When it has really, really positive benefits for some that, are, that have chronic pain. Absolutely. Or, things like that. So, yeah. And the only reason I even know anything about that is I used to suffer from chronic migraines, and that's for some an option. And I've had cancer, and for some going through chemo, that's an option.
And I mean, I know they even have, you can do it with CBD, and you can mix the two. And I mean, they have things at the vape shop.
Yep.
But, again, the medical marijuana thing is something that could prove to be profitable in this area. And I think with more education, people could be swayed. I remember living here before, there was no alcohol in sight. Right. And now it's like here, and I don't drink. So, I mean, I used to, but I'm 6 years sober. So,
oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, and again, medical marijuana has helped me with that before. Right. When I needed something to help get me away from something else. Right. Just kind of like anxiety and things like that. Like the medicine kind of like makes you like a zombie. Whereas if it was like medical marijuana, not so much.
Yeah.
That is like more regulating.
Yep.
So yeah, this has been good. I really appreciate this. You're very nice.
Oh, no.
Like she said, you're very nice.
No.
I was a little nervous because I never met a mayor, but
Never. Just like regular people.
Yeah, of course. But I do have like big dreams for Cochran, and
Me too.
I want it to be, a place where everybody's like, I love Cochran,
Yeah.
and then it's sad because I have family that's like, I'll never come back to Cochran.
I know.
And it's like, you got to give them a chance, but it's also like the people. And I feel like if you want change, the change starts inside of yourself.
Absolutely. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. It's like not, let's not complain about it. If you have the power to, sometimes you want to see a change and you don't have the ability.
Right.
But, there are some things like you as an individual can do something small,
right,
and it may inspire somebody else to do something small.
Trickles
and eventually
down. Yeah.
So I believe that. I believe that you don't not do something just because you're one person.
Right. Absolutely. That's why I was like, if you were going to take me up on this, I was like, I absolutely will go.
Well, heck yeah. I thought we were just going to have a simple conversation.
Nope, but surprise. I know I made you sweat a little bit, but
I was like, okay.
Oh, he's got a whole setup. What's happening here?
Yeah.
No, I actually have like dreamed of having a podcast, so this is kind of like a
cool
little segue.
Yeah.
And I would love to expand it and see what happens.
That's cool.
If there's other meetings and stuff that we can work on maybe together and branch out with some of the stuff we've talked about.
Mm-hmm.
I would love that. City council stuff, whatever.
Yeah.
Like I just right now I'm just at home with my mom and take care of her.
Yeah.
So anything I can do to get away from that for a little bit and also maybe like make a difference,
Yeah.
That's the big thing for me is finding your purpose and making a difference.
Absolutely.
So,
and I love that. I love because there's a lot of times people are like, they want to make a difference and they try and they hit a wall and then they get frustrated, they get ticked off about it, and then they get a negative attitude and they don't try anymore. And I'm just kind of like, if you genuinely want to make a difference, you're just going to keep going.
You have to.
I've hit so many walls. And I've had so many people say, you're not going to be able to get that done in Cochran, or you're not going to change anybody's mind about that in Cochran. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to keep doing it anyway, you know? And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But if it does, it does.
Right.
So,
Well, you got somebody on your side.
Well, I have big dreams, huge dreams.
And that's all you got to do. It starts as a dream, but if you can dream it, then you can do it. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Because it wouldn't be like planted into your head, if it wasn't possible, you wouldn't think about it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, no, I love this. And again, it's like I told you, I said, whether you're recording me or not, I'm going to say the same thing, which
absolutely
scares my husband to death.
Yeah, me too. I've actually forgot that we had these on. So, I
know it scares my husband to death. He's like, you just say things sometimes that just really shouldn't come out of your mouth. And I'm like,
because we're Aries. That's why.
Yes, absolutely.
See? He doesn't get that part.
No,
probably.
He does not. He does not.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
This has been great. Thank you for your time.
Absolutely.
You're okay with me posting this, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm fine. I know that anything I say, no matter what, can be taken out of context, and I get that.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah, but it's good to have it on recording because then it's not like, a text message where people can just pick whatever tone they want.
Right. That's true.
So it kind of like how the one Facebook thing went, and somebody was like saying that they feared for your safety for me and you to sit down today. So I was like, I think she's all right.
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh man.
Yeah.
But yeah, sounds good. I'm gonna turn this off.
Okay.
That way I can tell you what I wanted to tell you.
I don't know how to turn it off again, so I thought I did. But
that's okay.